This is Chris from ArcticElements.io. The E3 in 2018 will take place from the 12th to 14th June in Los Angeles, and it will truly be an incredible event which will showcase electronic entertainment. To be concise, the E3 is where new games and every now and then also new hardware is presented. Therefore, this video will feature the top 10 most anticipated games coming to E3 2018. Number 10. So far, The Division's Year 2 content has been rather meager, suggesting that Massive is already investing resources in The Division 2 or spending more time researching and implementing the community's needs. On the other hand, Massive and Ubisoft put a lot of time and effort into the improvement and replayability of The Division. That could mean keeping players up to 3 years. Or they would want to tie the community to a franchise until The Division 2 appears. In addition, Ubisoft has announced its new concept of live operations, which is designed to provide players with new content as a part of the games as a service approach. Number 9. Battlefield 5, or should I say Battlefield Bad Company 3? It seems like every 2 to 3 years that there is a new Battlefield game on the horizon. And there's really a lot of pressure on EA to make things right with the new Battlefield, due to the fiasco of Battlefront's in-game loot boxes. However, there's very little information to be deciphered so far besides this image. I would personally be preferring a more future-oriented Battlefield with less involvement in past wars. However, this might be exactly what will take place, setting the battlefield in the Second World War. We might get a sequel to the Battlefield Bad Company franchise, which is also another option, and this franchise has many fans that remember the funny puns of the soldiers in various situations which they had to shoot themselves through. At the same time, Bad Company 2 was extremely popular for its multiplayer, and therefore fans are extremely hyped to see what EA will be doing in that department. Number 8. The Last of Us Part 2 is an upcoming action-adventure survival horror game developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for PlayStation 4. Since we know very little about The Last of Us Part 2, we must make use of the small details. Actors Troy Baker Joel in The Last of Us and Nolan North, Nathan Drake in Uncharted attended the MCM Comic Con in Birmingham with little info on The Last of Us Part 2. Troy Baker revealed that Naughty Dog last did a playtest on The Last of Us Part 2, and in his opinion the game looked awesome. Apart from that fact, The Last of Us 2 is praised not surprisingly, and it is interesting to know that the playtests are already taking place. As far as the development and progress of the game is concerned, that's certainly a good thing. Incidentally, it is known when Last of Us will be released for PlayStation 4. Number 7. Anthem is an upcoming online multiplayer action role-playing video game being developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts. Anthem combines third-person shooter and action role-playing game elements in a contagious open world shared up to 4 players, in which they can take a role of a freelancer donning a fully customizable exosuit called Javelins. These suits can be customized to have various unique weapons and superhuman abilities. 2 classes of Javelins were shown during Anthem's presentation at Microsoft's E3 2017 conference. And one was the Ranger, which is an all-round and balanced javelin, and the Colossus, which is a larger and more heavily armored javelin to fill in a more of a tanking role. The game features both single-player and cooperative multiplayer elements in a shared world that can have up to 4 squad members per team. Teams can fight savage beasts and ruthless marauders while exploring lost ruins and experience massive, world-altering terrain occurrences such as Shaper storms. Number 6. Another game that is rumored to finally arrive at E3 is Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 is an upcoming role-playing game developed by CD Projekt Red and published by CD Projekt. Adapted from the tabletop game Cyberpunk 2020, it is set 57 years later in the dystopian Night City of California, an open world in which a group known as Edge Runners serve society in 8 different roles, which a player is free to choose and customize a character from. Player agency and choice lead to alternative endings. The setting is in 2077, the world has reached technological singularity and people are divided into social classes. The United States of America has fallen to balkanization and bankruptcy after succumbing to warfare, kinetic bombardment, famine, and rebellion. Mega corporations have seized control, building enclaves within which only their employees are allowed to live. Outside of these territories are old cities where gangs and governments contend for dominance. And the heartland is racked by severe dust storms weathered by nomads. In outer space, a group called the Orbitals, governed by Eurozone countries, wield mass drivers as a method of deterrence in the event that their economic sovereignty is challenged. So it is clear to see why this game is really interesting and why the hype is so big coming up at E3. Number 5. Life is Strange 2 is an upcoming episodic graphic adventure video game developed by Dontnod Entertainment and published by Square Enix. It will be the 3rd entry of the Life is Strange series and the first developed by Dontnod since the original. It was said that Dontnod is awaited to return a new story and characters in the release announcement post of Before the Storms bonus episode Farewell on March 5th, 2018. The game will probably use Unreal Engine 4, the original Life is Strange used an improved version of Unreal Engine 3. This is evident from an ad for a job as a character artist displayed by Dontnod, mentioning both Life is Strange team and Unreal Engine 4. It also shows that new people are joining the developer teams for the new game. Square Enix, as the owner of Life is Strange intellectual property, will likely act as the publisher again. Before the announcement, it was already known that a second team at Dontnod, besides the Vampire team, was working on an unannounced project which was rumored to be Life is Strange 2. Number 4. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is an upcoming first-person shooter video game developed by Treyarch and published by Activision. It is the sequel to the 2015 game Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and will be the 5th entry in the Black Ops story arc and the 15th main installment in the Call of Duty series overall. At the moment, only few pieces of information about the upcoming novelties of this game are known. Not so long ago, developer Richthofer announced that there could be various changes in the future, and Richthofer therefore indicated that it might be possible that this game will be able to travel back in time. Number 3. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is an upcoming action-adventure video game developed by Eidos Montreal in conjunction with Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix. It is the 3rd entry of the reboot series, starting with Tomb Raider in 2013 and followed by 2015's Rise of the Tomb Raider. The game is set to release on 14th September 2018 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The story takes place after the events of Rise of the Tomb Raider. The protagonist, Lara Croft, is an archaeologist on an expedition to Latin America looking for a Mayan relic which has a connection to her late father. The same relic is also sought after by Trinity, a parliamentary organization she has been battling before. Trinity wants to deploy this relic to remake the world. During the expedition, Lara makes a decision which sets off a Mayan apocalypse. Lara attempts to save the world from this catastrophic Mayan event apocalypse. Like its predecessor, the game is an action-adventure game played from a third-person perspective. There are numerous adjustments made to the gameplay, which is otherwise identical to Rise. The controls for swimming have been completely revised, and Lara is now able to hold her breath underwater for a longer period of time due to the introduction of air pockets. She also gains the ability to rappel down a cliff using a rope. Stealth becomes an important part of the game, with Lara being able to disengage from combat when she escapes from enemies' line of sight. Like its predecessors, the game allows players to hunt wild animals, craft materials using resources collected, solve puzzles, and explore optional tombs. Number 2. Borderlands 3 is hopefully also going to be featured at E3. There is minimal official information concerning the status and or planned content for Borderlands 3. Gearbox has however hinted at PAX 2015 that the game is in development and has been since sometime 2015, with the company hiring for developers. The game will sport higher definition visuals than all previous entries due to being the first game natively tailored for 8th generation consoles. New additions include greater dynamic lighting, capable of passing and diluting through fabric, as well as real-time shadows that can interact with fabric in a similar way. Also added is a revamped outline engine that is capable of fitting smaller outlines around the inner details of the game's 3D models, as opposed to the previous games, which only placed outlines on outer edges of the game's geometry. Lastly, the tech demo also had confirmed female characters who may play a large role in the game, either as a Vault Hunter or as an important NPC. Her face is never shown, as she is only seen in a silhouette form and from the side, where a large pauldron obscures her face. The developers referred to the character with female pronouns during the presentation and were adamant about keeping her face obscured. No further footage of the game was shown. Number 1. Red Dead Redemption 2 is an upcoming Western-themed action-adventure video game developed and published by Rockstar Games. It is scheduled to be released for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on October 26, 2018. The game is a prequel to the 2010 title Red Dead Redemption and will be the third entry in the Red Dead series. It follows the story of outlaw Arthur Morgan, a member of the Dutch Van der Linde gang. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a Western-themed action-adventure game set in an open-world environment. The game centers on Arthur Morgan, an outlaw and a member of the Van der Linde gang in 1899. In the waning years of American Old West and extinction of the age of laws and gunslingers, the player controls Morgan from a third-person perspective. The game features both single-player and online multiplayer components. Among returning characters are Dutch Van der Linde and John Marston. The game will continue to use the honor system from Red Dead Redemption, which based on how the player interact with non-playable characters, NPCs, and this will affect how settlements, towns, and other groups will react towards Morgan. If you have liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and share it with your friends, and don't forget to join us at
ArcticElements.io, the best Discord community. Join us now.
This video has been a lot of fun to make. I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did. And don't forget to check out my channel, the link is in the description, where you can watch more videos with friends from Arctic Elements and also gaming content in general. Also other stuff like music and vlogs, obviously, that I make sometimes. So yeah, I guess I'll see you there.